إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, brothers and sisters. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا. So this is Surah Kahf, inshallah. I am planning to, basically I'm studying this Surah Kahf. So I thought of, because when you study and share, that it will benefit you more. Okay, so that's why this idea came into my mind. If I study parallelly, if I convey also to others, it will help my study also. So that's how. So actually, I'm also a student like you. Basically, I am getting information about the Surah Kahf, reading more tafsirs and grammars, okay, and going deep into the meaning. So share with you, okay. And in between, if you have also some experience about Surah Kahf, yeah, yeah, okay. Mute your microphones, okay. Okay. So, in the meantime, if you have like kind of also some insights of the Surah Kahf, you can share, inshallah. So, you know this hadith, huh? Prophet ﷺ says, I'll narrate this hadith first, okay? Prophet ﷺ says, just hold on. Oh, I don't know why okay. So, it is basically, there are many hadiths actually, ahadith, ahadith, not only one hadith, many hadiths, are about Surah Kahf, its significance, and its significance in one of the unique thing, which is unique. In that context, there are many hadiths, which I am not narrating everything in the hadith here. If you read the tafsir, I'll see scholars have mentioned all the hadiths. I'm mentioning one which is narrated by Ahmad, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nisai, and this hadith is from Abu Darda radiallahu anh. The Prophet ﷺ says man hafiza ashra ayatin min awwal surat al-kahf usima min fitrat al-dajjal. So Prophet says whoever memorizes the first 10 ayah of Surah Kahf, he'll be saved from the fitrat al-dajjal. That's one. And the common hadith also, which you also might be knowing, that Prophet said every Friday you should recite Surah Kahf. It will save you till the next Friday. And that's the recitation part. And then there's another hadith where Prophet says, if anyone who memorizes the 10 ayats or the first surah, first 10 ayats, then last 10 ayats will also be saved. So there are many hadiths actually. There are even some hadiths are there where Prophet says even first five verses. So actually all the hadiths basically tell us the significance of Surah Kahf, and what it is going to do us is it is saving us from the fitna, the Dajjal. To understand that, the power of this surah, before that, let's understand the fitna the Dajjal. So this fitna the Dajjal, what do you think about this fitna? What do you think about this fitna? Do you know what kind of fitna is this? It can be interact. Please be interactive in interactive mode, inshallah. There's
Yes, bhai.
you can speak in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we talk about fitna of Dajjal, then it lies, I think, many aspects, not one. So what I have seen and learned that, like, it's not a form of a human being. It's a form of just like a normal thing, like how our economic powers are there, right? So economic powers will be ruled by that fitna, not with the Islamic economic systems. Okay, this is one thing. The second thing is our political uh, establishment, that is also will be overcovered by that the Zali fitna. Uh, like not how Islamic political establishment should be there. And the
Do
foremost
you
thing
do
that
you do you believe that Dajjal is an physical entity, or you're telling it is kind
uh,
of like economies, social things, and all? It will that
Uh,
lose your
I
con.
was I was seeing some of the scholars' videos. So they were saying that we cannot consider as only as a physical form. There can be fitna will be there, not only in the physical form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, apart from the
Okay,
physical
see, there are
form,
some misleading information also about Dajjal. Okay, the
mhm,
misleading information is some people don't consider him as a fitna, as a physical form. Like the way Prophet has told that he will come, his eye, one right eye will be blind, kafir will be written on his forehead, right? You know that hadith, right?
correct, correct.
So there are some people around who are denying that. They said, no, no, that is metaphoric. That is not actually in real sense, but that they are actually absolutely wrong. It's not like that. He is, the Dajjal is right now in chains, and Sahaba have seen him. There are hadiths on that, and he will be released and he will come in a physical form. Okay. And the Prophet ﷺ, and whoever says it is metaphorically only, it is just kind of a political system, economic system, not a physical form, is absolutely misleading information. Please don't watch those videos. Okay. This
Uh,
is a little bit alarm here. Okay. So Dajjal will come physically. He is chained right now in one island. Sahaba have seen him. Okay. There are ample evidence for it. As per you can read many scholars,
uh,
is there.
okay. No, maybe I have interpreted it wrong. What I was saying that his fitna will be
I understood now
there.
what you are saying. Actually, yeah. So so basically to make it, to
Actually
summarize it.
तैयारी तैयारी उनका
Ah,
उनके जो
yes. So what
वो
you are
कर रहे
actually
हैं.
trying to, I got it, I got it. So basically, if you see the fitna of Dajjal, basically is a fitna, is a trial which no mankind has seen. Even our
Correct.
prophets have now also not seen. Okay. And Prophet ﷺ said, it is the worst kind of fitna this world has seen. It is the worst kind of fitna. No human being would have seen that worst kind of fitna to that worst level. Even prophets would not have seen. Imagine, you can imagine, you know, prophets, the kind of human beings, the kind of the closeness they have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even they had not seen that fitna. Okay, but we are going to see it. We don't know whether we are going to see it, but the Dajjal will come, and that whenever he comes, the fitna is so intense, so worse that no human being has ever imagined or seen it. Number one, it is so severe. The fitna is so severe. The Dajjal will create such a fitna. It is so severe that every prophet of Allah, every Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned his qawm, his people, that the Dajjali fitna will come. The Dajjal will come. Every prophet, Prophet Adam has also conveyed, Prophet Noah, every prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have conveyed their followers that Dajjal is the worst fitna. So that they didn't they might be also expecting that it might come. Maybe he might come in my comb at the time of my comb. So that's why every prophet did it. And the severity of the fitna is worst. It is the worst. It is the so worst that nobody can stand that fitna. The strongest believer is supposed to run, he's supposed to run away from the Dajjal when he will hear the news that he has to hide himself. He cannot, nobody can, even if you are the strongest believer, you cannot withstand. Okay, such a worst fitna. Now, before that, as you mentioned, before that, before the Dajjal comes, there will be definitely preparation for it.
Hmm.
Because who will do the preparation? His followers. Okay.
Followers.
So finally, those followers who are doing the preparation for that fitna, okay, to make that a field for him will be actually his then real followers at that time. And basically, they might not be knowing right now we are followers in the Dajjal, but their deeds, behavior, their system is, it's in such a manner that it is going to help at the end of the day. It is basically the process of the Dajjal. Okay. And it has been, they are actually invariably, indirectly working for that process. Okay. So that's how this fitna is. Now imagine a fitna which is so severe that the Prophet ﷺ was trembling, by when he used to imagine this fitna. Okay, he was trembling because of his ummah, and what will happen to my ummah. It's so severe. It is so severe. And then Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has blessed us this surah and tells us that this surah will be your protection at that time. Allahu Akbar. It is the protection for you at the time from the fitna, from the Dajjal. Imagine, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us what kind of weapon He is giving us. SubhanAllah. Like you just imagine all kinds of fitna which we are seeing around the world right now, right? We are seeing massacre of the human beings. We are seeing the loot. We are seeing everything. We feel like this is a worst. We are living in a worst times. But brothers and sisters, this is nothing. This might be the smallest beginning of that fitna. Okay, even I cannot even I don't the fitna which we are going through right now, it might not be the first living step of that fitna. Okay, it is, so that means down the line, the more we are going towards ahead in time, we are going towards the end time. The generations down the line who come through us have to face the toughest times. And if you see what our fathers have seen, the fitnas, they are not, what they have seen is nothing what we see. What our children will see is nothing what we see. Okay. So that means this world is going towards multiple fitnas, and it will grow, grow, grow. It is going to be exponential. And and it will reach its peak when the Dajjal will come. Okay, so you can see the turbulent path which we have before us. And Prophet ﷺ tells us, whoever wants to save himself from the Dajjal, he should memorize these ayats. And basically, he wants us to take hold of the surah, understand it, live by it, okay, and make your life surah kahf if you really want to save yourself from the Dajjal. It's not only about recitation. I memorize 10 ayats, but I'm not doing what this surah says to me. That is not going to save me, okay? At the end of the day, how it will save me? That's the thing, huh? Okay, how it will save me? How this surah, how this mere words will save me? How? That's important, nah? What is actually in those words which will save me? Which that if I didn't understand that, then I'm gone. Memorization or recitation will not help me to the extent, because the fitna is so severe that even the strongest believer will be in shaking, at that time. What about the weak believer, right? So basically, this surah is a kind of shield which we will be wearing, okay, and how best we will wear it, how nicely we'll wear it, how perfectly we'll wear it, you know the same way we can expect protection from, better protection from the Dajjal. That is the importance of this surah, and no other surah will save you except this surah. Okay, you can see the power of this surah. You can see how our closeness should be towards this surah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions how many fitnas He is mentioning in this surah. How many fitnas? He mentioned some trials in this surah. How many trials? And what kind of trials are those? How many trials? Brothers, have you ever read the Surah Kahf translation? Okay, who has read the translation of Surah Kahf so far? Translation.
Yes,
You
yes,
read
brother,
it?
I did it.
Okay.
Assalamu
Okay.
alaikum. Me too. I have read.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. So how many fitnas Allah is mentioning in the Surah Kahf? There are how many stories actually? To make it simple, how many?
Story, yeah,
Three,
I know the stories.
three or
Huh?
four,
One, two,
four,
three, four, four
Four
stories.
stories.
four.
Actually, four stories are four. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions four fitna, four trials. The first story goes with Ashabul Kahf. It tells us about the fitna of the faith, trial of faith, trial of faith. Then trial of that Ashabul
Two,
uh,
two friends, two
Jannah. No, no,
friends.
yeah, that those people of wealth, right? One having a lot of wealth. Then third tells
Third,
us what
Musa alayhi salam.
about Musa alayhi salam. That's fitna of knowledge, trial of knowledge. Okay. Then fourth is
Fourth one is
fitna of
Dulgarnain.
Zulkarnain, is fitna of power. Power, trial of power. When I say fitna, fitna means trial, okay, in Arabic. So you should not take fitna as like kind of, so fitna means trial in Arabic. Okay. If you see these four trials, trial of faith, trial of wealth, trial of knowledge, trial of power, these are the trials basically which we will be also facing, and in an intense manner down the line when we go towards the jolly time, right? So these kind of trials will increase more and more and more and more and more. There will be the trial about faith. To stay on the faith itself will be like, as Prophet ﷺ says, to keep a burning coal on your hand. To stay on we'll be landing in our children or our generations might be landing in an era where to say La ilaha illallah will be like holding a burning coal in your hand. Okay. And then this is the fitna of faith. So faith, we also, we also experience some kind of fitna in faith nowadays also, like how difficult it is to pray salah, to even claim I'm a Muslim. Like, I mean, you can see, but this is nothing. Don't expect that this is highest. Okay, this is nothing. Even I don't, that's why I'm telling you, it may not be the first step even, okay, or a zero step even, I can say. Okay, so down the line, it's going to be very harsh. That's why we had to understand the surah and we had to convey our children also, because our children will definitely see the trial in faith more than us. My father has seen less trial in faith than me, what I'm seeing right now. When I see today the trial in faith, how difficult it is to profess the faith. And then I see my father's life. I see, Alhamdulillah, he lived very comfortable life as per faith is concerned. He didn't have challenge to stay on faith, right? He didn't see so many challenge, right? But I am seeing it. Though not, but my son or my children might see more than what we see. Likewise, their children. So that's why we had to understand the surah, because this faith, this trial will increase more and more and more. And if we did not understand this surah, if we did not convey it the way it should be conveyed to our children, if they didn't understand it, they didn't act upon it, what will happen? It will be difficult for them to hold on that trial. It will be difficult for them to handle that situation. Okay, that's one. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about that fitna of trial, about those people, Ashabul Kahf, and how they took refuge in the cave to save their faith. And then how Allah tells us how Allah saved them, and how they put, first of all, tawakkul to Allah. Allah teaches us that to how you can, He teaches us the trust in Allah. What trust of Allah means. Okay, like when you trust in Allah, it's not about by saying just words, like complete trust, like, and inshallah, when we read that story, when we reach there, we'll understand what kind of sacrifice they had done. What, when they went to the cave, what they had done. It's not easy. Yeah, going cave, living, everything, didn't bothering about what, where they get water, food. It's like saying easy, not that doing difficult. So, for example, if suppose we want to go to some masjid for 3 days, and the day it starts, before that one day we'll start packing our things, right? मेरे पास ये कपड़ा होना चाहिए, ये बोतल रहना चाहिए. We had done recently one masjid retreat. Before that, 1 hour, I took my bag. I make sure that I have put blanket with me, trousers with me, bottle with me, and all that. Okay, so it was not like that. It was not like that. The trial was so worse for them that they didn't get time to think about those things. Just run away and hide. Okay, no prepare, nothing. And how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then saved. So the beauty of that trial, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them, and what guidance we can get from there at the in that story, and what firmness I get from that story, so that when this kind of trial comes to me in any form, whether in high form, in low intensity form, or high intensity form, how I trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to make my affairs easy. Then there is a power of wealth, trial of wealth. In the trial of wealth, it's a materialism. The materialism in my father's time was nothing what I see today. The materialism is, when you might be also experiencing it, the materialism which we experience today, it's like beyond imagination what our parents used to see. People are engulfed in materialism, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. Mindset has totally changed. The wealth has become an end goal, literally end goal. Our thinking process, our everything, whether our education or our behavior, our families, our relationships, everything is aligned towards this materialism. It's totally, nobody is saved from it, okay? Nobody. It's almost we are inclined towards materialism, to almost every aspect of our life. And Allah tells subhanahu wa ta'ala in that story, tells, and this materialism is going to be worst. What I see materialism will be nothing compared to what my children might see. And what their children will see will be worst. Because as I mentioned, this fitna will increase. Because why these fitnas are important, because when it will reach peak, the Dajjal will come. Because it would have reached to the point now where the Dajjal will claim I am God, and people will be very easily accepting that. Right now, if somebody claims I am God, very difficult. Majority of the people will not accept because that level is not that much. The materialism level, that weakness in faith is not that much. But at that time, it is growing so far exponentially that at that time, his claim people will accept. That's why Prophet said, even the strongest believer should run away from that, from that fitna. Okay, it's so overwhelming. So this we can so if I really want to save myself from the materialism, this fitna of materialism, and I want to save my children, okay, this surah is the solution. Simple. Prophet say this surah is the solution. As Patanjali was mentioning, that economy, political system is aligned. It's aligned. That's what the same thing. It's aligned. Everything is aligned towards that fitna. It's aligned. Even our homes, in our families, the things are aligned towards that fitna. In countries, it's aligned. In muhallas, it's aligned. Okay. So if I really, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, if I really want to say that from that fitna, okay, I may not see Dajjal in my own lifetime, but I may see the preparation of that. That preparation itself will affect me so much that I'll be pathetic in a pathetic condition when I meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we might land, might die not with a proper faith, not with a proper belief in tawakkul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or our materialistic mindset will be so pathetic that when the death catches us at that time, I don't know whether La ilaha illallah comes in my mind. I might be thinking about wealth, right? So to save ourselves from that mindset, from the materialistic mindset, from that fitna, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us this protection. And the Prophet says, if you really want to save from that fitna, understand this surah and live by this surah. Memorize means not memorize by your mind, or memorize by heart. Memorization by heart means complete living by it. Okay, and Allah tells us about that, what happened to that materialistic person, right? How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed, and at the end of the day, this materialist world is going to be finished. Okay, and the end of the Dajjal, what will happen to him. Okay, then third is the trial of knowledge. Knowledge itself, if you see today, nowadays, people have also become, there is arrogance in knowledge. Everybody thinks he's expert in everything. There's no humbleness in knowledge. And this is going to, and knowledge also is knowledge about, there are two things here. There are knowledge about dunya and knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, akhirah, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us through that Musa's story, his efforts to seek the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to seek the knowledge of wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to seek the knowledge of that wisdom. Because what happens, as materialism will increase, the atheistic society, atheistic mindset increase, mankind will be getting more and more fall prey in the materialistic world, in the atheistic world, because they will not be able to understand the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in many of the affairs of life. You see, if you interact with atheists, Tanvir Bhai might be having this experience, because he used to do dawah, we used to do dawah, alhamdulillah. The atheist movement, majority of the atheists, actually, if you see, their experience with rejecting God is based on, they didn't understand the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, some atheist said, I lost my mother, or lost my son or daughter. Where is God? And today also, if you see the world, basically getting the godless environment is happening. The people don't feel the God. People don't feel his wisdom of, people see the turbulences, right? The injustice, and people think they don't understand this, that wisdom, right? Of permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those things. And they think that there's no God. If Allah would have been there, he would have stopped it, right? So they didn't understand the wisdom, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the Musa alayhi salam story, teaches us there the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far beyond our comprehension, right? And we have to trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you see something horrible, or something which is affecting us, okay, if we do not believe in wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala behind the scene, we might fall, down. Our faith can be shaken, right? And this fitna is going to be very, very much now down the line, right? People will out, and today also we see outrightly people rejecting Allah's, Allah because of the things they are not able to digest, right? And then the fourth one, I'm just giving you the brief of this. Okay, today it might be ending with the brief only to get to prepare you to prepare your mindset. Okay, we are not in a hurry. We have to understand this surah. Okay, it might take us 1 year. Doesn't matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for me also to make, because wallahi I'm telling you I will not be able to give justice to it. So pray for me also. Uh, to make May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for me and for all of us to understand this surah and live by it. Okay. And then the fourth one is fitna of power. Okay, so if you see the fitna of power, the Zulkarnain Islam story, you see Allah granted him the power and all that, and how successful he became, how he was passed through that, test. So power itself is a power, fitna, pride. Today, if you see power, it's all about power and money. Whoever gets power, might is right. That's as we hear nowadays, right? Might is power, right? Same thing. You see, it is also like people are feeling, falling prey into it. Whoever gains power, whether he's a right or wrong, doesn't matter. People will become his blind bucks, right? And the power makes person blind. He forgets about that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted him this power for some reason. He does not give power or wealth for in just like that. There is a wisdom behind it. It's a trial. It's a trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? But if you see that we are not taking this power, and power does not mean you are becoming king or all, okay. Power means any kind of power. Power means, every human being has some power in this world. He has some power. He might have some power on his own self. Number one, he can control his own self. He will have power on his family. He can align his family towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has influence in his family. He will have influence on his relatives in the muhalla. Okay, on social media or wherever. See, it's not about when we read Zulkarnain and we think, oh, if I will become Zulkarnain, Allah will grant me that kind of power, then I can think of. No, it's not like that. So every human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted some kind of influence. The influence itself is a power. Your knowledge itself is a power. Your money, which you have, has power to change the things. Your words, if you are a good speaker, has power to change the things. If you're a good writer, your writing has the power to change the things. Okay, and all the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which we are enjoying is basically power given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us not just to enjoy the life or enjoy that power, okay, but it's a test how we are going to, use that power to, first of all, get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to raise the Allah's deen. But that's how Zulkarnain did, right? When he reached to the east, okay, towards, west, uh, and he sees people, and Allah tells him that you can punish them if you want, okay. But what he says is he didn't. Allah gave him power to punish them. Okay, fine. Okay, what he said, I will only those people who believe in Allah, who believe, I will, make things easy for them, and those who are zalimun I'll punish them. You see how he became. He didn't misuse his power. He didn't become unjust. So he understood where the power has to be used and how it has to be used. Okay, likewise, whatever power Allah has given us, we had to understand first that it is a trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And second, how it has to be used, how effectively it has to be used, where it has to be used, wisdom behind it, and all that, right? So, and this power will increase more and more now. This is also going to be this fitna of trial power is going to be more and more. Okay, so you see, if you see if you compare the generations, the previous generation, our parental generation, they didn't have much power like what we had today. Did they have social media at that time? Please, can you mute? Somebody is doing some banging kind of noise. I'm hearing. Okay, please don't disturb. Okay. So if you see today, we have more power than our parents had in their times. Do you agree on this? Do you agree on this?
Yes, bhai, definitely.
You see, for example, the social media. If my father
Of
would have
knowledge,
thought of
of
conveying the message of Islam to 10 people, it would have been, first of all, before he would have planned, it would have failed. Right. But today, it is just within 2 seconds, I can convey the message of Islam through social media. It's a power. What else it is? It's a power, right? Today, we don't need to travel like Zulkarnain from east to west. We don't need, right? I can generate a post from in the east, it can reach to west. Allah Akbar. I will tell you recently, once, by God, one post has been put on Instagram here by our brothers. It right away went to the west. It got around 3 million likes, and all the likes from the west, almost. Not 90% of those likes were 90, even 95% was from the west. Where it started? From east, and 95% likes from the west. This is the power. Why? Is it possible to convey the message like to 3 million people? And being in a east, even Zulkarnain hadn't this kind of opportunity, right? He had to travel. See how much pain he would have gone through, right? So now Allah gave this power to us. How we are going to, and then down the line, Allah might give us more power. He will grant us more blessings, more power to us, right? In terms of technology, in terms of many things. That's why at the time of Dajjal, when he will come, the do you know what situation will be at the time? Prophet said he will leave by 40 in 40 days, something like that. He will travel whole world in 40 days or something like that, or 10 days. I don't remember fully. So within few days only, he will travel whole world, and not only world, means every mohalla, every mohalla, every mohalla. Okay. For example, if you go to Bangalore, he come to Karnataka, it's not like he will only visit Bangalore. He will go everywhere. Now, how he will go everywhere? We are not, and then he will complete all that thing within some few days. Okay. How is it possible? That means the technology at that time, or the power at that time, would be huge. So we would be enjoying at that time unique kind of environment, right? So that is itself a power. So that means the power of wealth, power of communication, power of political system, and all, it is going to be and this is a trial. And it is because of this power also, most of the people will lose faith. Most of the people will go away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will lose trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Because they will not be understanding that this is a trial, for what reason it has been given. And through Zulkarnain, Allah tells us, how he passed in the test by utilizing that power, right? So we have only 4 minutes, 3 minutes left. I'll take questions. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll start then grammar, because please take this. You should not think that, okay, आज पढ़ाई नहीं कुछ, मतलब start नहीं किया है. So this is a start, okay? And even one verse will take us 2-3 sessions, okay? That is minimum with my little comprehension, brothers. Okay, I'm not literally that person of that comprehension. Whatever I get, so that from that perspective, I'm saying it will take more time, and 2-3 classes for this on one verse. If a person of comprehension is there, he might take it 1 month, even, who knows? Okay, so with my little understanding, I am telling you. Okay, so do you have any question? Please feel free to ask. Then we'll wind up, inshallah, and we'll meet tomorrow. Any question, brothers?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Do you know the scholar Abul Hasan al-Nadwi?
Huh?
Do you know the scholar Abul Hasan al-Nadwi?
Yes. He has a book on it, yes.
Yes, he
He's
written the
the founder of Nadutul Ulum. Mashallah. It's one of
Yes.
the wonderful books on this topic. Alhamdulillah. Actually, it is in Arabic and it's been translated in English. It's a wonderful book. You can read it and get a lot of insights from that. Alhamdulillah. And
I saw his book around more than 15 years, somewhere. The Tafsir of the Kahf.
yes.
I didn't read it. So,
You can read it. I have read it, I think once. I don't remember when, but I didn't understand at time, because today, if I read it again, I might understand more, because today, Alhamdulillah,
yeah.
I have gained some.
Today we can read it, we can understand more. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, when I read it before, I think for 6, 7, 8 years back, at that time, really, I didn't understand, because he was discussing about things which I needed to have knowledge of that. But at that time, I didn't have that much. I'm planning actually to read that book parallelly also. That's my plan. I'll also read that book parallelly and convey that thing to also with other you people, inshallah. And we'll also,
Inshallah.
what is my plan here? To tell the grammatical breakdown of this, first of all, ayats, second, the meaning, the deep meaning, and we'll also go through tafasir, different tafasirs, inshallah, on this. Okay?
Inshallah. Inshallah, take it.
So please tomorrow be in time, join at 10 exactly, don't delay. I request you, this is Quran. Please be sincere towards learning Allah's deen, Allah's kalam. So be in time so that you will not miss, inshallah. Okay, we'll wind up. Subhanallah wa hamdihi.
This book is available online.
That book is available.
The book
I will inshallah share it with you, inshallah. Then
Yeah,
my
please.
I'll share with you, inshallah. Tomorrow I'll share with you, inshallah. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Subhanallah wa hamdi, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum salam. Barakallahu khairan, barakallahu feek.
Wa fiikum.
Barakallahu.